Don't forget to go to ashkicking.com for pound the best home health and beauty fragrance products.
Hi, you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Woo!
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Boy, I tell you, when they say pressure busts pipes, that is exactly what they mean, because that is exactly what happens. Guillermo Rigondeaux is putting so much pressure on Vasyl Lomachenko to take a fight. It's crazy. I mean, when you really think about the fact that Guillermo Rigo, he's given up every advantage just to fight someone who's a beast, because Lomachenko is no joke, guys. I'm in awe when I look at his skills and when I look at his talent. I'm in awe, okay? So when you have someone like Guillermo Rigo who's willing to move up 2 weight classes, like I just said, he's gonna give Lomachenko the weight advantage, the size advantage. He's going to give him the height advantage, and he has the youth advantage. Lomachenko is the younger fighter. And yet, it's the older, smaller, slightly shorter Guillermo Rigo that is doing everything it takes to make this fight come to fruition. Man, you have to give Rigo a lot of credit. You have to give him a lot of credit. Now, if you don't believe me, when I say Guillermo Rigo is putting tremendous pressure on Lomachenko, let me show you this man's Instagram. And then I'm going to show you Lomachenko's Instagram, so you guys can look at the dichotomy and you guys can see who actually wants this fight the most, to put it mildly. Okay, so let's look at Vasyl Lomachenko's Instagram first. Now, what you will notice looking at his Instagram is there's not really too much mention of fighting Guillermo Rigo. But Loma does have one post on here, which is that picture right there over to the left. And matter of fact, let me go ahead and enlarge that so you guys can look at it. So the post reads, how Loma lets his hands do the talking. And then at the bottom, it shows a picture of someone on the laptop, and then it reads, how Rigo lets his hands do the talking. Now, no doubt about it, that was a clever post. No doubt about it. But what's actually ironic is Lomachenko, he used the internet to call out Gervonta Tank Davis and other fighters. So when he talks about letting your hands do the talking, he's actually guilty of doing the same thing that Guillermo Rigo is doing right now, which is aggressively, but well, I won't say aggressive because Loma is nowhere near on the level of where Rigo is when it comes to challenging someone. Matter of fact, once again, you guys are looking at the pictures. You're looking at the Instagram of Lomachenko, right? Like I just said, the majority of pictures and posts doesn't really mention him facing Guillermo Rigo. In fact, it just says he's doing a lot of talking, etc., etc. Now, let's look at Guillermo Rigo's Instagram. Let's look at the contrast. Look at this. Almost every post is about who? Vasyl Lomachenko. This man, Guillermo Rigo, is on a mission right now, guys. Matter of fact, I told you guys to remember that picture of Lomachenko diving into the pool. Now, this is the picture that Lomachenko posted on his Instagram. Now, let me show you the picture that Rigo posted on his Instagram. He has Lomachenko still diving into the pool, but read the caption. It says, hurry up, Clemus, let's flight to 135 before Rigo gets here. Wow. Listen, all I'm telling you guys is I think it is very obvious that Guillermo Rigo wants this fight more than Lomachenko wants it, right? In fact, when Lomachenko says all Rigo is doing is talking stuff on the internet, according to Rigo's Instagram, he's doing more than just talking, because look at what he posted right here. That is Top Rank's contacts right there. So according to this post right here, Team Rigo, not only are they talking stuff, but they are reaching out to Top Rank to make this fight come to fruition. Oh, but what's this right here? Now, when I click on the comments, the first comment that pops up is some racist decaf. His response to Guillermo Rigo calling out Lomachenko is to race bait. And get this, guys. This post right here that Rigo put up, it has over 80 comments. Matter of fact, I believe it's at 87 comments right now. And I scrolled through all of them. And the reason I scrolled through them is because I wanted to see if these decafs who always says when they hear black people that reports racism, when we talk about the double standards like the video I just did the other day, when Shakur Stevenson and Floyd Mayweather's daughter were getting at it, and I said in that video, it really makes no sense for two people on the coincidental list to be arguing over someone else on a coincidental list. When these racist decafs, they don't like either one of these fighters on the coincidental list. They don't like Ward, Mayweather, Shakur Stevenson, or any other fighter on the coincidental list that is a threat and is on the top, like Guillermo Rigo as well. And of course, when you come out with some real truth like that, that always gets the most racist fans' attention and they get upset. And then they start posting comments because they feel guilty. All of a sudden they come out of nowhere, hey man, I'm not a racist. Why don't you stop talking so much about race? You're just making things worse. You're just stirring up the pot. I hate hearing about race, and why you have to make it about race? Why can't you just talk boxing? Why do you have to race bait? Now, once again, look at this post. Do you know that this post of Guillermo Rigo basically challenging Top Rank and Lomachenko, do you know it had 87 comments? I know I said that earlier. I want to reiterate. It had 87 comments. Do you know not one person responded to this guy and said, hey man, stop playing the race card. Stop race baiting. Stop stirring up the pot. You're just making things worse. Why are you making this about race, etc., etc., etc.? Now these decafs, once again, they'll say that they don't want to hear about race when black people are reporting racism, but when the actual racist is posting racist comments, they say nothing. We know what time it is. You get mad at the person that reports the crime, but you don't get mad at the criminal. Does that make sense? The only reason you wouldn't get upset with the criminals is because you're probably a criminal yourself, right? So let's stop playing these damn games. Do you know racism would not be as big of a problem today in society? Forget about just boxing. In the world, racism wouldn't be as big of a problem if these decafs would get just as upset when they see the racism exposed as opposed to seeing people report the racism. 87 comments and not one single person got at that person and said, stop race baiting. Now don't get me wrong, people responded to him, but they said stuff like, oh, you're just a Lomachenko fan. it's like they tried their best to ignore the fact that this was a race issue. It had nothing to do with being a Lomachenko fan, a Golovkin fan, or a Guillermo Rigondeaux fan. This guy made this simply about race. This is a clear-cut case of something that has absolutely nothing to do with race, and the racist person made it all about race. You would expect a lot of people to be upset. But the reason why they're not upset is because it's only racist people that feel guilty when we talk about stuff like this. Any person that would get upset about exposing racism is a racist themselves, right? You know, when I hear, once again, and I say this all the time, but when I hear like Muslims calling Donald Trump racist, when I hear Mexicans calling Donald Trump racist. Matter of fact, true story, I remember when my son was fighting, he was fighting against this kid in the silver gloves, and it was a Mexican kid. And I remember I was talking to his trainer. His trainer was a real cool guy. We was actually talking about, you know, a lot of stuff outside of boxing. And he just randomly brought it up because he was from Arizona. And he started talking about how racist, you know, the cops and people in general are towards Mexicans. And I empathized with him. I was like, man, I hate to hear that. You know, the point that I'm making is never have I ever heard a different race talk about racism and I got upset because they brought it up. Why would I get upset with someone talking about something that they're going through, something that they're dealing with? Why would I get upset with them? Only way I would get upset with them is if I'm one of the races myself, right? I mean, so if you know that you're not one of the races, why are you responding in the comment section saying, hey, I'm not a racist, etc., etc., etc.? So why are you responding like you're guilty? If you know you're not that way, you wouldn't respond that way. I understand the psychology of ignorance and racism. I really do, man. I really do. I mean, think about this for a second. Guillermo Rigondeaux, all he did was post a comment of Top Rank contacts proving that he is really, and Team Rigo in general, they really want this Lomachenko fight. Why would that cause or prompt someone to just attack an entire race? Just because one man wants to fight the best wants to fight the best? You know why he did that? Because deep down, that racist boxing fan, he feels that Guillermo Rigondeaux is a threat. And what he's basically saying is, leave my favorite fighters alone, okay? I only have a few fighters that are really good that I like. Leave him alone. Go fight someone else. This is exactly what the racist fans did with Andre Ward when Andre Ward was calling out Gennady Golovkin. They said, hey, why don't you just leave my one fighter alone? I mean, come on, Andre Ward. I just want my guy to remain undefeated for a couple years. You can fight other people, man. Why don't you move up to another weight class? Fight Kovalev. But please just leave my fighter alone. Let him stay undefeated. This is what HBO said. This is what the this is what the decaf said. This is what they asked. And Andre Ward, he took the challenge. You know, speaking of taking the challenge, isn't it pretty damn ironic when you think about the fact that the most hated fighters in the sport of boxing are taking the toughest challenge? Think about that for a second. Andre Ward, because Golovkin wouldn't fight him, HBO and, like I just said, a whole lot of other people start demanding that Ward leave Golovkin alone, take his ass to another division, right? Now Andre Ward has to fight the best light heavyweight in the world. And guess what Andre Ward does? He obliges them. Not only does he obliges them, but he knocks the guy out. Technically knocks the guy out. Beats him twice, technically knocks him out in the rematch. Now Andre Ward wants to go to cruiserweight. He wants to go to heavyweight. He's talking about fighting Tony Bellew. His trainer wants him to fight Anthony Joshua at heavyweight. And Virgil Hunter ain't just saying it just to say it. He really believes in this fighter. These fighters on the coincidental list are taking the toughest challenges and they're being hated in the process. How is that possible? Rhetorical ass question, right? We know what it is at the end of the day. So Guillermo Rigo, he continues to apply tremendous pressure on one of the best fighters in the world. You know, that's something else that's pretty crazy and pretty impressive, rather. The fact that Rigo is aggressively calling out someone that is so naturally gifted. It's not like he's calling out someone like a Roman Gonzalez, who we can clearly see the flaws. Calling out like a Gennady Golovkin, who's a very powerful, strong puncher, and et cetera, but we all can see the flaws in a Golovkin or a Roman Gonzalez. But when it comes to Lomachenko, there's not a whole lot of flaws that we see, outside of the fact that he lost to Orlando Salido. But I would probably agree with what Lomachenko said when he used the analogy, you know, when I fought against him, I was damn near, you know, in second grade. He said, now I done graduated from college, from a university. So I'm ready for a rematch is pretty much what he said. I'm paraphrasing, but it was a cool analogy that he used. So yeah, man, you would think a fighter that's going out there, he's getting knockouts, he's taking on the toughest challenges, he's willing to fight Goliath. And sometime, on occasions, he's knocking out Goliath. You would think that those fighters would get praised the most, or at least just as much as the fighters on the hope list, right? But not when you're on the coincidental list. And that's why we're gonna keep exposing these ignorant ass decafs. Let's see if Lomachenko takes the fight. This will be an unbelievable fight. And with Guillermo Rigo moving up 2 weight classes, being the natural smaller guy, he's older than Lomachenko. This is still a 50-50 fight despite all of those disadvantages. How crazy is that? This fight has to happen. 2 of top 5, the greatest Olympians, boxing Olympians. Top 5, pound for pound possibly, both of them, going head to head. This fight has to happen. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.